Hi, so in this video we will be analyzing the setting up paper of the June 2024 attempt new syllabus. Now the questions were very straightforward and a student could easily pass the exam, and I would classify it under a easy paper category. So let's see. First, this trend has started where they ask really big situational questions. Okay, so the question goes on, but the best thing is to directly come to the question that they have asked, the direct questions. Okay, so let's see. First, in question number one, they have asked write down the benefits of limited liability partnership. So very straightforward question. Okay, then they have asked, so it's all about LLP that they have asked. Then the next they have asked is describe the documents which are required to be attached with the prescribed form Philip for registration as a LLP. So now with form Philip, that is the incorporation form for LLP, along with that you would give your partnership deed, the name, or your details of your designated partners of the office, etc. So very simple questions have been given. Then the next is what are the considerations for this while seeking an investment. So key considerations when a LLP is seeking investment from angel investors. Now what they have done, they have taken LLP and they have clubbed it with the startup chapter also. In that we have about investments. So when a investor is investing into the business, what all factors will he look? He will look at the business model, the futuristic growth, the cash flows, the tax benefits, etc. to finance its operation. So these will be seen, the most important return rate, the ROI, etc. Now what documents are required to be uploaded for GST registration application form on the GST portal? So now if a person, they are talking about clubbing with GST also. To register the GST you need to give your bank account details, details of the business, that is your incorporation documents, details of your persons running it like your directors, etc. Okay, all of that. And the most important is which goods and service you are providing. Then what are the conditions to be fulfilled for conversion of your LLP into a private company? So again, very simple. Can a LLP be converted into a company? Be converted into a company? Answer is yes. You will just see that you have to fill all the documents with respect to incorporation of a company. Okay, and there is a form also, URC 1, for incorporation of a company. Okay, that needs to be filed. Okay, next is and this was also in section 366. So both, this is you, if you want to convert your company into LLP or LLP into company, both is permitted under company law. Section 366 speaks about it. Okay. Next is they have again given a really big question. Let's go to the direct question that they have asked. What they have asked, that being a company secretary suggests what are the benefits available to Section 8 company. So very straightforward question. Benefits is the tax benefits that one gets. Okay, and plus it becomes a separate legal existence, it has a limited liability, and so the persons who have want to further a social cause, they can set up a section 8 company and can receive donations. The highlight any additional requirements for license to ensure food and safety. So again, what are the requirements to get a food and safety? So you have to give all the necessary documents to the FSAI office. These additional requirements could be with respect to compliance of safety standards, your with respect to the location, etc. Okay, and your FSAI license is also of different categories depending on how big the turnover or the outlet is. Accordingly, the level of compliance will increase, whether it is a primary license, whether it is a state license, or whether it is a central license for FSAI. Then comes the next question is about there is a company limited by guarantee and not having a share capital. The AOA of the company gives a right to any person to participate in divisible profits otherwise as a member. So what is happening is the AOA of the company is giving a right to participate. Examine the validity of the provisions of AOA. Now they are saying that they want to give dividend to a person who is other than the member. So now if you go to see, normally companies which are set up as guarantee not having share capital, they are under section 8 companies. So as per section 8, it is prohibited to declare dividend. One is this, prohibited to declare dividend. However, if it is a not a section 8 company, not a section 8 company, then can they distribute dividend to persons other than members? Now if you go to see, your company law is silent whether you can give it to other members. Your SS3 also, okay, when you go to your SS3 secretarial standards, it says that they define the word dividend means dividend distributed to members. Okay, so therefore all the provisions in company law talk that it should be given only to members. So examine the provisions of this. Answer is it would be deemed to be invalid. Okay, normally it is for members. Okay, and this the courts will decide whether this particular provision is correct or no, but mostly as per SS3, when you see the definition, they say it has to be given only to members. So can you give dividend to non-members? Answer is no. Okay, then next comes A and B are close friends who graduated from a renowned college, okay, wanted to start a other services provided company for commercial purpose. What licenses and documents are needed to operate as a OSP similar to other service providers? Now if you go to see, very simple, what all is needed. So these friends wanted to start this other service providers company. So first they want to set up a company. So at least if a student doesn't know anything, they can at least write the documentation and steps to incorporate a company. They have to take whether it's going to be a private company, public company, okay, the DSC, DIN number, your Spice Plus form has to be filed. In addition to that, other service providers in telecom company would require a separate permission or approval from the DOT, the Department of Telecommunication. Let's go to the next thing. Again, they have asked, PQR is a listed company, is a listed entity in textile. Out of the revenue, 40% of its revenue is generated from sales to New York. So let's see what is the question. The company is also planning to start a manufacturing unit nearby New York under its subsidiary. As per the prevailing in USA, what are the requirements for setting up your workman compensation and disability insurance? So first of all, what are they saying? There is a company which wants to incorporate a subsidiary in the city of New York. So therefore, first a company has to be set up which will be a subsidiary. Second, they need to have contractual contracts has to be created. Service contracts have to be created with the workmen, and the employer-employee relationship has to be established. Then the requirements of the respective state law, that is of New York, will have to be complied with. Insurance has to be taken where the employer will take a regular premium, and whenever there is a disability arising out of or in the course of employment, the employer will be liable to pay compensation. Then comes ABC Limited, a community based financial institution, is exploring the incorporation of a Nidhi company. Section 406, the institution seeks your advice for the benefits of incorporating a Nidhi company. Advice. So again, what is a Nidhi company? It is nothing but a self-serving bank. It is a self-serving bank, okay, or financial institution. So what is a Nidhi company? So the benefits is that it gets easy loan to members. They do not interact with outsiders. contributions are given to the Nidhi company, they give generally at higher rates. There is a faster disbursal of loans as well. Okay, now this is from your chapter number 1, degree of control as an entrepreneur to have business effects in the choice of business. Again, in light of the above, let's read the question. Explain how control and management factor is basic factor to choose your suitable organization. So again, depending on whether you want to go for a corporate or a non-corporate structure. So your corporate structures are your companies. Now companies, a person has less control because the control is kept in the hands of shareholders. Whereas non-corporate structures like your sole proprietors, they have generally higher degree of control since all the shares are held in their name and decisions can be taken faster. So simple points. Next, a group of residential in a housing complex have taken possession of their homes and they're dissatisfied with the builder. So they're very sad with the builder. They wish to create a legal entity specifically for maintenance of their housing complex. What kind of legal entity would be best suited for them? So the answer is your RWA, Residential Welfare Association. Okay, so they can set it up as a society, because if you see, your society must be having a particular committee. The committee will collect maintenance and accordingly will serve the members. So RWA, Residential Welfare Association, is the best legal structure to be setting up here, where it will be created, maintenance will be given by the residents for their own benefits. Next question they have asked, very simple direct question of equity joint venture. Approaches you to seek your advice with the key characteristics of equity joint venture. So if you go to see, equity joint venture is a company which has equal or maybe equity shares will be given. So there can be company A as a member and company B as a member. So they set up company A and company B. They can choose to set up a company C. This will be a separate legal existence, and the profit and loss ratio will be according to the share capital of the company. So in a contractual joint venture, a separate legal entity is not created because they all operate independently only. However, in an equity joint venture, a separate company is formed and the investors get equity shares. Okay, then comes the next question is what are the forms to be filed along with the registrar of companies for conversion of private company into OPC. So again, very simple. What all has to be done? A special resolution has to be taken. So MGT 14 will have to be taken, and your INC 6 is the conversion form. Okay, that needs to be filed for converting your private company into OPC, apart from reducing the members and complying with the OPC requirement. Next, in OPC you have to give name of the nominee also. Let's see what is this question. The nodal officer is instructed to close the project office after due compliance. Describe the process of closing of the office opened by the foreign entity. Now again, if you want to close your project office, you require RBI approval, you require NOC from the income tax authorities, you need to file form FC2. Okay, these are required. You need to ensure that all the compliances and all the compliance in labor laws etc. are complied. Then they have asked again a question that there are various non-compliances by this accordingly a lot of restriction and penalties were imposed by RBI. So there was a company which got a license to operate as a payments bank. Okay, where all the KYC requirements were required to be told. However, this company made a lot of non-compliance. So let's get into the question. Before making any offer, the management requires the checkpoints to be considered for running the business as a payments bank. So as a payment bank, you have to comply with not only a RBI laws but also with your uh, money laundering laws, and section 13 to 15 of the labor laws of the PAMLA, Prevention of Money Laundering Act, also puts a special obligation on financial institutions to do KYC verification. Okay, so those details can be written. Next, what is the question? Company seeks your advice for classification of a micro, small, and medium enterprise. So, fairly direct question, classification, that thresholds need to be put up. Next, what they have asked, advise the company about the benefits to entrepreneurs establishing startups. Okay, under the startup scheme, is a newly technology based company in Bangalore. The company establishes a AI power software. As per the growth is exploring various benefits available to startups. So again, a very direct question, tax benefits are given to startups, those tax holidays are given. So entire direct question has been asked, benefits of startup. Okay, next, what they're asking, and startups are allowed to issue a convertible note, also a special note for them, type of instrument it is. Then come advise the company on the requirement of IEC, importer exporter code. Okay, so every company which is planning to do or person doing a import export needs to get a IEC code, make the filing fees, make the application, okay, to the Director General of Foreign Trade, and they will issue a license, and this will be permanent. However, a certain renewal or a fees has to be paid. Compliant. Differentiate between a partnership deed and a trust deed. Okay, so partner deed is between the parties. Here, this is the author and the trustee. So fairly direct question, and that is for benefit of beneficiaries. Here, the partners are doing it for their own benefit. Then they are asking, ABC Limited seeks your advice on the process and requirements for incorporating a company in Singapore. Advise the company. Okay, aims to establish a company into the region of the growing market, the benefits of this. So again, very simple. Now whenever a question like this comes, now since you have done company law, you know the incorporation steps will be same throughout the world. Get a name, select a business structure, get a certificate of incorporation, apply for various tax licenses, take labor law, registrations, etc. Then when every startup, again, what is a has its unique journey to become a unicorn, in light determine the term unicorn. Okay, so what is a unicorn? Again, a very simple question. Is a startup different from entrepreneurship? So again, when you see what is the difference between a startup versus entrepreneurship, so startup is the company and entrepreneurship is the ability, or it is a skill of the entrepreneur. Okay, so the entrepreneurship creates startups. Okay, then comes your employee skill development scheme is there for capacity building for MSME, including employee culture in the country. Please prepare your note. So again, a very simple answer that yes, this scheme is there for encouraging your MSME sector, providing them loans and all the benefits given to MSME sector. Okay, they get easy disbursement of loans. Government is separate corporate for encouraging your entrepreneurship. What are the factors to be considered by secretarial auditor while segregating the applicability of specific laws and general laws? See, general laws means it is applicable to everyone. For example, your Companies Act 2013. Whereas your specific laws are industry specific. Industry specific. So if it is depending on a secretarial auditor will look which kind of company is there. For example, if it is a manufacturing company, there are specific laws will be there. If it is an insurance company, if it is banking company, etc. Okay, then those particular specific laws and their compliance also needs to be assessed by the secretarial auditor. Okay, then comes your enumerate the, and you could write your section also, section 204 for secretarial auditor. Then comes enumerate the specific laws and regulation that are applicable to housing finance companies in India. So again, if you go to see your company, so your Companies Act is the 2013 is the general laws, and even the specific is your Housing Finance Corporation. Now RBI is the regulator which has taken control from the NH National Housing Board. NHB have transferred their powers to the RBI. Now next is your question, really big question, and they ask about where are the questions. So this is still a question is going on. It's a huge question, and now let's see. The questions are very small. What is the duty of an inspector with respect to safety of the building and machinery? So whenever there are 1,000 or more employees or workmen, a safety officer has to be appointed. This safety officer along with the duty inspector will ensure that there is a fencing of machinery, all those criterias are provided, there is a proper latrine, there is a first aid, ambulance, etc. is in place. Next is casualty reporting, etc., incident reporting. Write down the duties of XYZ manufacturing company to provide, write down the duties of this company to provide basic and practical training to the apprentice under the Apprentice Act. Okay, so the apprentice has to be given a proper space, they should be given proper remuneration, proper contract has to be made, a proper training has to be done. Okay, there has to be a qualified person appointed. So those straightforward questions. Write down the procedure for fixing the minimum wages under the Minimum Wages Act. So there is two methods, one is a notification method and the other one is a notification where a committee method, where a advisory committee is appointed and that advisory committee is done. So on basis of this, the central government can fix the minimum wage for any class, etc. Then comes write on the provisions under the Contract Labor Act. So very simple, in the contract labor, what do they say? That the principal employer and you have the contract the contractor, and below them you have the contract labor. So ideally the contract labor are all those people who are appointed through contractors. So the first responsibility is of the contractor to give first aid, to give drinking facility, washing facility, medical aid. If this is not there, then the principal employer will do. And what are the penalties? Fines, imprisonment, and cancellation of license. Then they've asked again in examine the validity of contention A. Okay, so now they are asking about there is a sexual harassment to a senior woman officer. Okay, it took place not at the workplace but at the guest house of the company. So if you see, the case law is also very simple. Your Vishaka versus state of Rajasthan, that this even the notional extension of time and place will apply, that it doesn't have to be at the workplace, it will extend to places which are in connection. So it is done in the connection of employment. Okay, so it is in employment or in the due course of employment. So it will be extended and yes, she will get remedy. Then they say what are the benefits of maternity, 26 weeks, paid leaves, etc. All of that is straightforward question. Then they have asked, citing the provision, examine the eligibility of a employee to get bonus involved in theft. So it is not allowed. So in case of theft, rioting, your entire bonus is rejected. Then comes in recession, they laid off certain workforce. Okay, he believes his termination was unjust. So what is the question? Can Y challenge his termination due to economic recession? So if you see, this is the provision of retrenchment, where it is for other than disciplinary reasons we are removing the person. So can he, so is it allowed? Answer is yes, he is allowed to remove, but he should get his retrenchment compensation and a proper 1 month the notice as per the contract act, that has to be given. Can he challenges? Obviously he can challenge, and he can go to the labor court who will decide. Okay, what is the role of the government in such disputes? So government sets up officers, and all these courts as tribunals are set up by the government. What are the remedies available to why if his claim is upheld, he could be reinstated along with full salary. Then they have asked what is the this employee insurance court. Okay, and state what matters go are decided by this insurance code. So any kind of disablement, any kind of dispute, maternity disputes, everything can go into the insurance with respect to contribution of the employee can go here. What is a gig worker? A gig worker is nothing but a temporary worker. Okay, he is not in permanent employment. What are the potential benefits of and challenges? So benefits to temporary workers: he can work at his own will, he can earn as per his own will, he has the flexibility to choose his organization at different times, not tied up under any contract for a long period. And challenges for gig worker is that there he doesn't have any stability in business, no continuity in uh, income. Okay, next is what are the provisions of voluntary reference of dispute to arbitration. So this was that after in 2020 section 10a they had introduced that, listen, even labor disputes that is there between employer employee, if they both, employer and employee, both want to enter into arbitration agreement, so they can enter. So there has to be a valid arbitration agreement. Then the arbitral process has to be followed as per the Arbitration Conciliation Act 1996. A copy of the order has to be given to the respective state government. Once the award is given, it will again be informed to the state government and it will be published. So you can write about arbitration law. Social security is guaranteed in our constitution. How does Article 43 requires the state to secure living wage? So again, Article 43 requires requires the state to give living wage, proper standard of living, giving you have your Equal Remuneration Act, which has put in place because of Article 43. So that is it. It was a very simple paper. Okay, and if you want, you can enroll yourself in the dream batch. The link is in the description. All these questions mostly had come from those things also, and also there will be a very important a particular gift also to the dream batch students in a couple of days, that will be put in the dream batch. So go ahead, join, and let me know in the comment section how was your paper as well. Take care guys, bye.